Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Can you believe we are already halfway through 2024. I don't know where the first 6 months of 2024 went, but they are gone. I'm happy to say that I think my reading year has been pretty decent this year. I know that I really feel like I struggled last year. This year, I've taken the pressure off. I'm not pressuring myself to read anything that I don't want to read. I'm not pressuring myself to read, period. If I don't feel like it, I'm not doing it. And I think it's worked out for me. I'm on track to complete my 50 books, which was my goal for this year. And so today we are doing the staple mid-year freakout tag. So I'm excited to get to it and tell you about the books I have read so far. The first question is best book you've read so far. And that is an easy one with The Society of the Snow by Pablo Verici. And this is the English translation. I haven't been able to get my hands on the Spanish translation. This is the only 5-star read of this year, not including rereads. This is a non-fiction book. I don't know if it's a memoir. It's more like a recounting. So the author, Pablo Verici, interviewed all of the survivors from the 1972 Uruguayan plane crash that crashed in the Andes Mountain. He took all of their accounts and put it all into this one book. It was just such a powerful read, and I was actually prompted to read or even pick up this book because of Netflix Society of the Snow movie. If you have not watched Society of the Snow, I highly recommend it. Again, it is based on the 1972 plane crash. The movie was impactful, but reading firsthand accounts of the survivors was even more impactful. So I highly recommend that you guys read the book, watch the movie, do all of the things. Question number 2, best sequel you've read so far. I think I've only read one sequel and it was nothing to write home about. I enjoyed it, but can I really say it's my favorite if I've only read one of them? Number 3, a new release you haven't read yet but want to. I have 2 for these. And the first one is The Darkness Within Us by Trisha Levenseller. I loved The Shadows Between Us in 2021. I want to read it mainly because I want to see if any of the characters from The Shadows Between Us make an appearance in this companion book, and I've also seen the Barnes & Noble edition and it looks stunning, and you all know that I am a sucker for a pretty cover. Another new release that I actually just got the audiobook hold for, so I have started a little bit of it, is Disturbing the Dead by Kelly Armstrong. This is the 3rd book in her time travel series. I have really been enjoying this. So this is a mystery series with a time travel twist, and I am a sucker for time travel. If it's time travel or multiverse travel, I am there. I am very into those ideas despite what science says. Modern day detective Mallory from Canada is stuck in 1890s Scotland in the body of a 20-year-old maid. It sounds bonkers, and the first book is a little slow to get into for me personally. It took me a little bit, but once we actually got like into the meat and potatoes of the story, I was hooked. Prompt number 4, the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Absolutely nothing. I actually went on Goodreads to look through their new release lists, and I could not find a single one to appeal to me. There were a few that piqued my interest, don't get me wrong, but there was nothing that I read or saw that I was like, oh my gosh, I need to pick that up as soon as it comes out. Not really. Number 5, biggest disappointment, and this has to be the only 1-star read that I have had for 2024, and that is Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton. It was not it. And it was a disappointment, not so much because I went into it thinking, oh, this book in particular, Does It Hurt, is going to blow my mind. H.D. Carlton also wrote the Adeline duology, Haunting and Hunting Adeline, and I ate that up. So then coming in to read Does It Hurt and having it flop so bad was very disappointed. And a big red flag is that if I am skimming through the spicy bits, there's something wrong. But number 6, the biggest surprise, is the Rip Through Time series by Kelly Armstrong. This is the time travel series that I mentioned earlier. And the reason this was a surprise is because I went into it with 0 expectations. I like time travel, but I am not a fan of Victorian times. I don't know, is 1890s Scotland considered Victorian times? I don't like old-timey England or Scotland. I don't know why. I think old-timey England and Scotland, and I think historical fiction, and I don't like historical fiction, even though this book specifically dealt with the time travel aspect. It's been a pleasant surprise. that I have enjoyed this series as much as I have. Which leads me into number 7, your new favorite author, debut, or new to you. And I would have to say Kelly Armstrong. I know I've only read this particular series, but I really like that the writing is easy to read. It's just easy to immerse yourself. You don't have to think overly hard about the plot. Like, it's just good, entertaining reading material. I love that. I think that's really helped me in this reading year, you know, after coming off of my 2023 slump. I think this has really helped me get back into the swing of reading and enjoying it and reading just for fun. She writes a lot of different genres, so I would highly recommend checking her out. Even if you're not into the murder mystery time travel aspect, she dips her toes in a lot of different genres. Number 8, new fictional crush, and that would have to be Dante Russo from King of Wrath by Anna Wong. This is her billionaire romance series. I love a love interest who will burn the world for their love interest. Number 9, new favorite character. I don't really have one. Even Dante Russo, like, yes, he's my new fictional favorite crush, but even him, I'm not like dying for him either. I haven't read anything yet. Number 10, a book that made you cry, and I have 2. The first one is Before We Say Goodbye by Kawaguchi Toshikazu. I think this is the 4th book in the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series. This is an originally Japanese series. It's a collection of vignettes almost focusing on this cafe that allows you to travel back in time, but there are a lot of rules. You can only do it once. You can only sit in this specific table at the specific chair, and the most important thing, you cannot change the past. No matter what you do, the outcome will still be the same when you come back. The reason why Before We Say Goodbye made me cry is because in this installment there was a lot of regret. And I feel like regret is a common theme throughout the series, but I don't know, I especially felt it in this one. And in particular, Before We Say Goodbye had a story, had a vignette with a dog. And whenever I think about dogs, it makes me cry. It makes me sob. That's all I will say on that, because I will sob right now. The second book that made me cry was Society of the Snow. This is the book about the 72 plane crash in the Andes. I think this is self-explanatory. It's real people, real tragedy. How could you not cry? You know, I feel for them. I can't imagine having gone through everything that they went through, and it was a lot. It was just emotional. It was intense. It was a lot. But on the flip side, a book that made me happy, nothing that has touched me at like a really deep level, on a surface level kind of happiness, I would have to say King of Wrath by Anna Wong, and also King of Malice by Rena Kent. King of Wrath, like I said, is the first book in Anna Wong's billionaire romance series. King of Malice is the first book in Rena Kent's dark romance series. So very opposite sides of the spectrum. I feel like in the end, it's the same thing. We kind of have like an enemies to lovers thing kind of going. These couples are so intensely against each other, against liking each other, against being with each other. It is just this intense of like, no, I will not touch you with a 10-foot pole. And then at the end, I mean, spoiler alert, at the end, it's kind of happily ever after. So I'm always left with a smile in these 2 books in particular, because again, just the intensity of how much they did not want to be together. There's now this love between them. It just makes me happy. And finally, the most beautiful book you have bought so far this year. That is the Barnes & Noble edition of The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. This pinky is so stunning. But then you see the sprayed pages. I'm a sucker for some sprayed pages, let me tell you. I think there are a few different versions of the mid-year freakout tag. When I did it for the first time, this was the set of questions that I had, and I've always just reused those questions that I had typed up on a Google Doc. So for me, that is the end of the mid-year freakout tag. Let me know how your reading year is going so far, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. My name is Elle, and I will see you in next time's video.